Hello, I'm Kathleen Choi. Welcome to Asian Voices. On this week's show, we meet a young Chinese magician who has even fooled master magicians Penn and Teller with his magic. We then visit a food festival in San Diego that features a world record challenge to make the most sushi pieces in 48 hours. And later, we'll meet a courageous woman who shares her story of survival and passion for social justice. These stories and more coming up next on Southern California's source for Asian and Pacific Islander culture, arts, lifestyle, and entertainment. At only 21 years of age, Rabby Yang is the first Chinese-American magician to win on Penn and Teller's hit TV show Fool Us with his amazing magic arts. In addition to performing at the prestigious Magic Castle, Rabby can often be seen performing at Disney's Magic Shop and various magic clubs throughout Southern California. Let's meet with Rabby and find out why he's becoming so popular.
Magic, to me, is about achieving the impossible. It pushes the boundary of knowledge and vision and reminds me to challenge myself to new heights every day. There is no limit. It may take years of hard work to perfect a sleight so that no one can perceive it. When I look at the world, everything is magic. Every moment in our lives can be magical.
I grew up in Beijing, China, and I came to the United States when I was 14. At the time, I spoke really bad English, but what actually helped me was my magic. So I did magic when I was a little kid, when I was in China, and I came here, and I couldn't really communicate with the friends. So then I started fiddling with my deck of cards, and people thought that was interesting. And then they started talking to me like, hey, show me a magic trick. And that's how I started connecting with people. Magic is about tricking people. It's more about building a connection with everyone. It's like watching a movie. Like, we don't decipher, oh, this is how the camera or the angle and how this is shot. We just immerse ourselves in the story. And I think magic is very much the same way. When I first came to Berkeley, I designed a course in magic, and we teach students with no magic background, starting from zero to, I would say, an intermediate level of magic. We teach them starting to how to hold the deck of cards, and eventually they can do very impressive card tricks. I first started applying to be on Penn and Teller's show when I was 17 years old. It was 4 years ago. So it was a long process, but what I told myself is just I didn't want to give up. Just because they said no doesn't mean my magic is not good, maybe just because that's not something they're looking for that season. And so I just keep pushing myself, and eventually I think one day this is gonna happen, and it did, so.
One of the top young magicians working today, here's Rabby Yang.
Well, thank you, everybody. My name is Rabby Yang, and ever since I was young, I realized I have a very special power, an extrasensory ability to detect color. And today, I'm demonstrating that exact power using
This is my fourth time being on, and I was just so grateful for the fact that I was actually on the show. And I didn't know that I was gonna fool them. So I walked in and was like, okay, there's a chance, so I'm just gonna give it all I have. And that's a funny story. So before I actually went on the stage, I was backstage, and then when the producer was like, okay, Rabby, you gotta go on stage, and I was like, can I use the restroom? And then I was in the restroom by myself, looking in the mirror, I was telling myself, okay, you can do this. And then I came on, and then the nerve got away, so I just kind of enjoyed being on that stage.
You fooled us.
A big part that helped me to become the magician that I am today is the Magic Castle Junior program I joined in 2015. I was actually very surprised at the fact that as a junior member of the Magic Castle, I was able to fool Penn and Teller. And later I actually found out that I was the first Chinese magician to ever fool Penn and Teller. So that also made me very proud. And I think, you never know what's going to happen in life. So I came to the United States because I wanted to do more things that I love, and I also wanted to look at the world from a different perspective. When I was in China, I thought magic's all about, hard work, perfecting my sleight of hand, and making it like impeccable. And then came to the United States, I realized, okay, there's also entertainment aspect to magic. So that's the different views of magic from the different worlds. What I'm trying to do right now is actually combine the two to make it very entertaining, at the same time has a lot of skills in it. So. All right, hey there, ladies. Would you like to see a magic trick?
Yes.
Here, do me a favor, just grab a card up. That one. Okay, look at it. Show yourself. Show her. Don't let me see it. All right, just set it right back here. That's awesome. Now, do you remember what the card was?
Yes,
What if I tell you I can find a card using only one finger? That would be cool?
that would be cool.
What was the card?
Should I tell you?
Yeah.
3
Three of
spades.
spades. Come right here. Watch this.
Wow.
And you see, that's the only three of spades in the deck. I want people to treat my magic as a performance, because I don't think magic, I'm not trying to make a guessing game with my audience. I want to make them to think that, oh, this is just like dance or singing or everything. It's everything put together, and to entertain them instead of trying to, fool them or trick them or anything like that.
Wow.
That's real tea?
Uh-huh.
I'm Rabby Yang, and this is my voice.
Welcome back to Asian Voices. It is my pleasure to introduce an extraordinary woman, Dr. Tao Ha, who shares her story with us of survival as a war refugee and her new identity as a Vietnamese American. Dr. Ha has turned her personal experience into her passion by teaching sociology as a college professor and in helping underserved communities raise awareness about social injustice. She also recently produced a documentary film that raises awareness about the circumstances many Vietnamese refugees faced in Texas who tried to start a new life in the U.S. after the Vietnam War.
I was born in Vietnam in 1973. In 1975, we left Vietnam as part of Operation Frequent Wind. So we moved around the U.S. For a few years, and we ended up in Houston, Texas in 1978, and that's where I grew up. It was a little rough, learning the language. There was some bullying, there was a lot of racism, the kids telling me that I'm a gook and chink and, go back to your country and things like that. So, we grew up with that environment. In Houston, there is a sizable Vietnamese population, and there were challenges with delinquency and gangs, and so unfortunately I got caught up in some of that, and so it was a challenge to grow up in that time and era. And I ended up pursuing a doctorate in sociology, and I completed that at the University of Texas at Austin. And that's how I ended up working as a sociology professor. Education is so powerful. It's liberation, it's opportunities. It was my way out of my dark place. It gave me a brighter future. It gave my parents a sense of pride. So there are so many things that are wrapped up in education, and especially higher education. On campus, we have several programs that help disproportionately impacted student populations. We are very focused on equity and reaching out to populations that are often marginalized and shut out from the education system. And MANA is a program that is designed for our Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander students. It's not exclusive to those students, and anyone can join, but we focus on empowering those voices and focusing on the experiences and the cultures of those communities, specifically because Oceanside has a very large Samoan population, and we want that community to know that we are here as a resource and a way for young people and even older people to get an education. We focus on mentoring. We focus on giving opportunities for them to visit universities, but also to give them a voice and that they can realize their own agency in how they can contribute as members of society.
Most of the people that lived here, that's what they did to make a living. They worked on the water.
To them, it was their livelihood that was important.
When the first Vietnamese came to Seadrift, they weren't really welcome into the community.
Our boys got killed up there, fighting them, and then they brought them over here to the States.
Seadrift is a documentary about the Vietnamese refugees who came to a small town in Texas called Seadrift. It's a coastal town off the Gulf of Mexico, and it's a fishing town. Fishing, shrimping, and crabbing. And so the documentary focuses on how the influx of refugees came there, what were some of the racial and economic tensions that arose from that. Seadrift is a town of about 1,300. All white folks. And so there was some conflict, some racial conflict. It led to violence, and it also prompted the KKK to get involved. And so the story follows what happened in the town, what was the situation with the violent confrontation, and how the town resolved those issues. And we want to give voice to those who were there to tell the story of Seadrift. I wrote about the incident many, many years ago as part of my work on Vietnamese immigration in Texas. I was working with the Center for Immigration Research in Houston at the University of Houston and had written about the Vietnamese community. When I became a graduate student, I was very interested in telling our stories, our Vietnamese American stories, and I was fortunate to have the story published in a book called Asian Texans. And Asian Texans is a compilation of the contributions of Asian American communities in Texas. So I authored the chapter on Vietnamese in Texas. And so in that chapter is the story of Seadrift. Tim Tsai, who's the director of Seadrift, came across the story and said he had never heard of it before. He wanted to tell a story in documentary form, and he contacted me and said, let's make a documentary about this. And that was 7 years ago, so we completed it recently, and it is starting to pick up steam, and it's a very compelling story about refugees, the refugee experience. It's about reconciliation of dark events, and it tells a very holistic story beyond just racial conflict, right? There's a lot of humanity being told in that story, so I'm very proud of the documentary. I think it's very important for Asian Americans to have our voice out there, have our stories told. For myself, I feel that I've always been very mindful about what is my story, what is my community's story, how do we tell those stories, how do we encourage the next generation to be involved with that, because if we don't tell our stories, no one will. I'm Tao Ha, and this is my voice.
Welcome back. We visit a unique food festival recently held in San Diego where sushi chefs attempted to break the world record by making over 100,000 pieces of sushi in only 48 hours. And many of the chefs didn't sleep until it was over. The proceeds from this event benefited a non-profit program that educates youth about ocean ecosystems. Let's meet sushi chef Jeff Roberto, who was the mastermind behind this world record attempt.
So I'm Jeff Roberto, Sushi on a Roll. So yeah, so we do a lot of nonprofit events. So it's kind of good. We kind of give back to the community, and it's fun. You get people out there, and same with them. They have a great time, and the sushi that they love it. It's a hot food right now. So I came up with this Sushi Festival event about 10 years ago. So why not do something different? In the food community, let's do something different. And so 24 hours is kind of simple. A lot of people can stay up for 24 hours. So let's do a 48-hour event with 100,000 pieces of sushi, right? And no one's created that. So there's no world record. We're trying to set this world record and do it 100,000 pieces in 2 days is what our deal is. And we cut almost 300 pounds of fish for sashimi. Yeah, and that was done in like an hour. But all in one day we did that for 24 hours, and now we're on our second day trying to do more sushi and kind of set this record.
We got a few hours of sleep, but we've been going non-stop. So we've got plenty of rolls here and tons of fish being cut down over here. We're used to a lot of tuna, around, but this is 300 plus pounds of fish being cut down every day.
So a lot of the fish we get lately for events, special events like this, we get from Japan. So this bluefin is amazing here. So besides the toro that a lot of people want, that you get from the local stuff here, this fish is phenomenal, right? It turns a little white, so a lot of oil here. So bluefin's the #1 tuna in sushi. So we'll move this away. And so sashimi is just straight up and down, right? We can cut it like this, some nice big pieces. So bluefin's #1 tuna in the sushi bars. Big eye tuna is #2. And the yellowfin is what a lot of people use for the poke, right? So what poke we do, we're doing that today, is just cube fished. Oh yeah, this is amazing stuff. Oh, melt in your mouth, you can just get all the oil around your mouth. Amazing, kanpai, arigato. We also do it for a foundation that my heart's in. This guy Rollo, who passed away back in the 90s. So it's called Friends of Rollo, and what they do is they take kids fishing. You want to give back, and besides taking kids fishing, they teach them. They teach them about the ocean, about everything about what's going on, right? And then mainly here in San Diego. So it's a local foundation, so which is good.
This was a 48-hour marathon to set a sushi world record. To be safe, we just ended up making it a 24-hour world record. He still set it because there's no record like this in the world. Congratulations, Chef Jeff Roberto.
anybody's interested in sushi catering, weddings, parties, private parties, call us, right? Or email us at sushihonorroll@gmail.com. Our website is sushihonorroll.com. And we're here in San Diego. We go everywhere. We do a lot of different events, and it's just unique, right? So we can go to your home, go to your office, anywhere you like us. So we can travel anywhere. But it's a different concept, and it's the whole Japanese experience.
This program was made possible in part by the California Arts Council, advancing California through the arts and creativity. Team Metro Real Estate, helping families with real estate investments in San Diego since 1990. Contact us today for your free in-home market valuation. A+ Family Dentistry, San Diego's family dental care specialists. Have more confidence with a healthy smile. Promote your organization or event online today on Asian Pacific Community Connection Business Directory website. KDT Optometry, where excellence is the only option. Call to schedule your appointment today for the best eye exam experience. Asian Voices was brought to you by Asian Culture and Media Alliance, empowering our Asian and Pacific Islander communities through media arts since 2013. That's all for today's show, but be sure to check us out on our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Now I'll leave you with this week's music video by an up-and-coming Asian American artist. I'm Kathleen Choi, and I'll see you next time on Asian Voices.
I can't wait until the day that I find you. Every moment that passes by is one I can't bear to lose. I'm drowning all my fears, trying all my tears for the day when you appear. But until then, oh my dear, I'll sip on my Earl Grey tea and I think of you. Sip on my Earl Grey tea and I think of you. As I walk out into that quiet winter night, searching for truth, falling over and over again with the thought of loving you. I'm drowning all my fears, drowning